Hello and welcome back to the roads of Elden Ring. Today we are going to have a look at Mount Gelmir from a level design and world design perspective. But where am I right now? I'm not really at Mount Gelmir. Am I? Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I am currently over here right in front of the Windham ruins. And this area I decided to do in this episode and not in the Altus Plateau episode. Why? Just because I thought the Altus Plateau episode would have been too long with this included. And Mount Gelmir, while it looks big from the outside and it might take a while to go through, it is more like a very linear level design. Because the route that I will take today is, first of all, I will talk about the Windham ruins. Then we will go through this channel over here to Fort Leith, I guess it's pronounced. I've made a video about Fort Leith as well, so I'm not going to talk about Fort Leith in this episode. I will go past it and have a look at the stuff that is happening right here. We will go around this magma field, or possibly through the magma field here. Then we will be at the Hermit's Shack. And I'm getting confused. No, I think we can keep going, even though it's not really showing here, to the Craftsman's Shack and then to the Hermit Village. And at this point we could go across, or what I will do is I will start over from here, the Bridge of Iniquity, then I will continue over here, and we will notice that this bridge is no longer functional, so we will climb up a ladder that is over here, and we are basically on the other side of this path. And from here on out we will climb up a lot of ladders, visit the biggest falling star beast that is in the game currently, have a look at the gate of the Volcano Manor, and ultimately end up on the other side of the bridge here. And this will be the end of the episode. So let's start with the, what are these called again? Windham ruins. Well, what do we have here? I think it's fairly clear. We have a Tibber Mariner here, we have still muddy water, and we have a lot of ruins. And if we have a look at these ruins, we will see there is some death root here. I mean, the Tibber Mariner is really the first thing you will see of the death root here, really. But there are also some skeletons and other fun stuff. Well, there are basically only skeletons here and dead bodies. But these ruins are something a little bit more special than the previous Deathroot areas, because I really like the style. I really like the looks of them. Where was I standing before? Somewhere over here, I think. Look how beautiful that looks. I mean, there are all these flowers. We have the yellow grass thingy from the Altus Plateau. We have these purple or whatever flowers over here. The Tibber Mariner is also purple, and I really like the contrast, like the purple color with the yellow color with the stone gray and the green colors in there. Looks quite beautiful. And I mean, we can only guess what these ruins were before, and they're in and out of itself, nothing special really. These are just ruins occupied by the Deathroot, or the influence of the Deathroot. Skeletons, undead basically. So, but I really like the design of these ruins. Like, I like the verticality over here, that you have to climb up staircases, like one staircase, and then you're basically in the building right here, and I don't know what kind of building this is supposed to be, but we have a staircase right in front of the door again. Now we go up, and is this still building? Must have been building, right? There's, yeah, at least it looks like these are buildings as well. And then we have another, and is this building as well, or am I outside now? It's a bit confusing to me. No, this is definitely a building. Where does one building start and where does the other one stop? This is a fun little game that we can play here. But I don't really want to linger too long here, because this is nothing we haven't seen before in previous episodes. But it's the biggest and the most beautiful one, in my opinion. It really looks great. It really, really looks great. And of course we have everywhere these death roots growing, and they look exactly like their roots before, like there are corpses inside. They have these underwater deep sea creature tentacle looking protrusions or tendrils, and yeah, the eyes of death are also there. So let's start with Mount Gelmir, really. And I think I'm putting this there now. Shouldn't I be able to see this somewhere? Oh well. This is now a reminder that when we are up there, and this is the way up there, I will have a look down onto these ruins. Because this is part of the level design that I absolutely love about these games, and now we are officially in Mount Gelmir, so I guess the ruins aren't part of it. But who cares, right? So, but that's the beauty about really more or less all From Software games. When you can see it, you can go there. It's basically the rule in these games. Oh, maybe not that much in Dark Souls 2, because they work with a lot of still imagery, I think, in the background. But, well, let's go through this passageway, because this is like a... I don't even know what I want to call this. Are these guys' ears here? They will hurt you, as you can see. Sorry, Torrent. So, nothing special here. You just have to dodge these. No enemies right now. There's a minor earth tree that is not looking so good anymore. Possibly being destroyed by the Volcano Manor, because they're basically anti-earth tree. But this is basically the last spot, or this is the spot where I will end the video. Close to that earth tree, so this is the very final spot we will stay at. And I don't know if it's just me or if it happened to all of you, but the first time I approached this area, the first time I wanted to tackle the volcano, Mount Gelmir and the Volcano Manor, I was so confused how to get there. Like, right, the first thing you will possibly encounter is the path we are in right now, right? So you're going in between these mountain parts, you see some sort of buildings up there, you don't really know what they are. Then you're going in this direction and you have to defeat these annoying enemies down here. And you have a look at this bridge part here, and then you think, how do I get there? There must be another path there, right? And you keep going, and keep in mind we can now see the whole map, so even if you see the map, it's quite hard to see. Like, it is not a map that tells you, oh, it goes underneath here and you can go this way and all that. It looks a bit confusing, and it's also a little bit inaccurate, I think, in some parts. It's hard to see, definitely. So, but keep in mind, you have to pick up the map at some point. I'm trying to remember. I think it's over here, right? You need to be in front of the Volcano Manor in order to pick up the map part. So basically this whole thing is like obscured, and thus making it very hard to navigate. At least in my opinion, even though the design itself, like, is extremely linear. Right? It shouldn't be a problem, but because you have two entrances, the one is here where we just went in from, and the second one is over this bridge, and it's basically just a linear path with a few crossovers like this one over here. But we will see, we will have a look at this later on. And here we have a lonely soldier guarding this cave thingy over there. Why would you do that? I don't know. And this is the goofy part now. Because if we have a look in the sky, or right above, we see these zombies spawn in. Like, this is so goofy. I think it's here so... because it's hard to see from here. It looks like they're supposed to be thrown off the volcano manor or the earth tree part, one of these parts, but it's not working. They're spawning right in the middle, like in the view field of the player. And it looks just silly when they fall from the sky. It looks just silly, and well, they're not really a challenge to begin with, because you're most likely just skipping through this area of torrent, pick up a few items, dodge these geysers over here, and that's it. You're not lingering here for long, I guess. Maybe if you want to pick up all the mushrooms. And now we are getting into the territory of the Fort Lythe, I think it's called. And if it's not pronounced Fort Lythe, I just think it's pronounced Fort Lythe because it has the double D at the end, like Blythe, and Blythe is pronounced Blythe and not Blade or Blade, it's Blythe. So I think it's the same thing with this one, right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, what do we have here? I think there's a little bit of combat going on here, because here we have these, the fire faction, the fire monks, protecting or doing something with their giant flame thingy. Do we have combat here? I don't even know if we have combat here. I think they're beating each other up here somewhere. Might be wrong. Oh no, it's the fire monks versus the lane-dealt soldiers over here. I don't really know why it's going on here. Like, we clearly have the fire monks and these sinner witches with the thorn crown over here. These ladies on one side, and then we have the lane-dealt soldiers on the other side. So, but what are these doing here? Is this an outpost of the fire monk dudes? Because we also have I'm just looking into the area, because here we have one of these fire prelates, I think they're called, and they're basically the leaders, I guess, like higher ranking versions of the fire monk, basically. And then we have the fire machines here, these goofy looking heads, and then they're fighting or killing the lane-dealt soldiers. Are they on the side of the volcano manor, or is this an outpost of the fire monks? I don't really know. And yes, they're supposed to fight each other, but because I'm not technically here, they're not fighting each other. Let's see, maybe they will start if I... Yeah, they can hurt each other. Just needed a little bit of convincing here. But you will see they will fight each other. Lovely, I guess. So if you really know what's going on here, you might write it down into the comments. Would be appreciated, but I think up to this point it might only really be clear if we read item descriptions, I guess. But there's definitely a conflict going on here. And now we are in the magma field. I can't open the map because these idiots are still fighting, so I need to get rid of them, I guess. So let's actually get rid of them, because I think they will deal either no damage to each other or very low damage to each other, so let's just get rid of them to show you where we are standing right now. Over here, in this area. And here we have a mini-boss, isn't that great? A magma worm. You can cheese this one with poison and scarlet rot. And then you just go away. I personally don't like fighting them. I feel like they are way too spammy with their charge attack that creates these fire paths. When they are charging you back and forth and spitting magma while they're doing it. I don't like that attack. It's like zoning you. You have to basically wait until the fire is gone or until the magma is gone. So that's not really a fun fight versus these magma worms. If they could only spam this move like once every 3 minutes or so, 2 minutes, or maybe they can only do it once, then it would be fine, I guess. I mean, you don't need to get rid of the one attack, but I don't like it when they do it like 3 or 4 times in a row. It's just irritating, right? What else do we have here? Demi-humans. Small demi-humans. Isn't that great? A few coffins. I don't know why they're just here. Happens a lot in this game, but... And we have one of these statues that you need to destroy with a big enemy, and that means there's a big enemy in the vicinity, right? And it's up there. Woo! My favorite enemy type, the Rune Bear. Very hard to fight. They have one attack that is, again, very annoying to fight against. It's hard to anticipate, at least for me. It's their fairly quickly charge attack where they just, I think they're jumping back a little bit and then they're dashing forward, and it's so fast. I rarely can dodge it, and they like to do that attack often as well, so... And they're beefy. Rune bears are really, really beefy. Not really fun to fight them, in my opinion, again. Good, we are now past the Hermit's Shack, so I guess these are the Hermit's Shacks. What? Plural, I guess. But, well, it's just a small, very small little village. I can't believe why you would live here. Like, there's nothing really going on here. Which is so boring. This area is like... What even is this? What can I see there? Oh, I can see the... Oh, it's the academy. There's the Carrion Manor. Carrion Manor. Huh. Ooh, and there are the ruins. Right, I wanted to look down there. Oh no, these are the Perfumer ruins down there. I guess? I'm getting confused. Who cares? Who really cares? I don't really know what... Like... why I would live here. There's basically... How are you getting your food? You have to go past this path and then go through the channel and then ending up in these ruins here. And these ruins were probably some buildings. Well, this area overall feels a little bit barren. And I guess it's supposed to be barren because, well, this is at the cliff side of a volcano, right? It's like, why would you even live here? And some people decided to live here, apparently. And they have their little shacks and like a village here. And, well, do I need to talk about the houses in these games again? Because sometimes they look really good. Like this one, I like the addition of this square area over here. It looks big enough for multiple people. And then we have a small, really small little shack like this building, and we can actually go inside so we can see it's just a one-story building, and we have 1 door, 2 doors, 3 doors. Like, these are clearly door frames, right? This is clearly a door frame. And this as well. We even have this is the main door frame. And then for this little balcony, we have another door frame. So you basically have a very, very small little shack with 3 doors. What? This is so silly. This is so silly. And I guess there was a, what is it called? Shepherd, right? There were shepherds here because you have a lot of goats. And these are goats, right? If you have a look at their eye, they have these typical square, not square, like rectangular eye thingies, pupils. I think they have these weird slits. Not a circle, but a slit, basically. And oh boy, this thing is terrifying. This thing is terrifying. This, what is it called? What is it called? Abductor Virgin? Something like this? And why is it terrifying? I have a funny story to that thing. Because it's headless, right? It's headless, and this is why it's like really uncoordinated and charging all over the path here. And I have a fun story to that, or not so fun story for me at least, a terrifying story for me. And this game has there is no difference between New Game Plus and the normal game, right? The new game and New Game Plus, there is no difference except the enemies are stronger and have more health, right? There are no special enemy designs, there's no different items you can find, right? It's the same concept, just a little bit harder. So I went through this game with my first character twice. So I went into New Game Plus and I was at this particular point, and I probably have missed this, my first playthrough, right? This area, I've missed this area. So I've never seen this one, the headless one. And the first time I got here was in New Game Plus, and this thing wrecked me really hard, and I thought this was a New Game Plus enemy because I haven't seen this one before, but I wasn't here before, so and this butchered me like completely. It's like I think it one-shotted me twice. Like I attacked it, it one-shot me, I respawned there, I went at it again, I died again. I was like level 150 with 60 vigor, like in a heavy armor. This one is crazy strong with the charge attack, and it's like wild charging around because it has no head, I guess. But now I know why I couldn't see the marker, because it was behind this rock. So let's have a look down here, because we should be able to see the ruins, but it's too foggy, I guess. They're over there. Okay, maybe at another rock. Maybe at the village over here with fortifications, which is quite nice. They actually built a little fence around their village, and now the hermit village is occupied by demi-humans, so I guess these fences didn't work. Because I'm quite sure that demi-humans aren't capable of building these buildings. But there's something going on here, and I want to talk about these mages later on, but first I want to have a look at these ruins, and they look quite barren, not as good as from down there, but I guess the game has to sacrifice something, otherwise this would be performance heavy, like extremely performance heavy, and it's not the most optimized game, right, but they're doing something to optimize it, I guess. But here we have demi-humans living or working together with mages from the academy, and they seem to not worship, but see them as teachers, I guess. And why is that? Well, we will see it shortly, in a short time, but first I want to have a look at this village, because it's quite nice. They have quite a few big buildings, and again, I know I'm repeating myself, but I like big buildings, because the small buildings really are too small, and these big ones are, especially the ones like these, they look quite good. Could be a 2-story building, and then it's big enough for a lot of people. That's amazing. And we have the small buildings with the 3. It's the same building as before, like 1 door, 2 doors, 3 doors. Ooh, and we see who is living here. Are these the celebrants? They look like the celebrants, right? So look at the hood. Yeah, the festive hood. The yellow version. Okay, and now we know this village was occupied by celebrants. At least they got the same model, and they clearly got overrun by the demi-humans at some point. Possibly... No, not possibly. We're not there yet. But now the secret, or not the secret, we have a mage, like, we have a demi-human queen over here. And, you know, the demi-human queen knows magic. They have a staff. And I guess the staff is fairly decent at... Don't come at me. And I guess the staff is fairly decent at magic when you have low intelligence, so... Where's this one going? Where's the demi-human queen staff? Glintstone staff styled as a scepter, a gift once given to the demi-humans to foster peace. It can be wielded even by those of low intelligence, sneered at by fools in the academy. But these are clearly not fools, these are mages that are probably friendly towards the demi-humans, so they're actually not as bad, right? Even though they're attacking us, but they either try to befriend the demi-humans for their own benefit, or they just want to have peace. And I think it's close, or I think we can assume that they're also teaching, in this case the demi-human queen, how to cast spells. But let's have a look at the demi-human queen, because for some reason all of their big creatures, except the rune bear maybe, have like this non-existent stomach, like kind of reminds me of the trolls, but these are not trolls. Like the design of the demi-humans, or the demi-human queen in this case, like they look like somewhat normal on their abdomen, right? They look like they are quite well fed, a bit thin, but I guess they look healthy. But this one, in contrast, looks like complete skinny, like... What's going on there? I guess they can't eat that much, they have to eat way more than the normal-sized demi-humans. And I wonder if it's only the females that grow this large. It's like a bee hive of some sort. Like they have the queen, which is bigger, and then these ones are like normal size, and then they have the chieftains over here that are the biggest male version, I guess. Maybe that's how they work. Quite interesting. Demi-human anatomy and society, I guess. But I think this is the reason why there are mages here. this crusty old dude. And this is Master Azur, I think. Where is it? Where's the laser beam? Yeah, Comet Azur. So this is Master Azur. And I guess he casted too many spells and he got like the glintstone is growing on him, and it's glowing, yeah. It's glowing as well, but it's growing into his brain, and now he's basically brain dead, I guess. Like similar to that. Or the glintstone is occupying like the space of his brain and it's now acting as his brain, but he can't really move that much. And he is basically brain dead. But I think this is his, like, these mages are his followers and they befriended the demi-humans for some reason and so on and so forth. Storytelling. That's what the story is telling me. And here we have a nice little overview over the next areas we will be at, because this is now, or this was now, Route 1, and we could jump down here to part of Route 2, but no. This is just too confusing. We will start over at the Bridge of Iniquity, if this is how you pronounce it. I don't know what this word means, but who really cares? You don't need the meaning of the word in order to know what's going on here, because this is the quote-unquote official part to Mount Gelmir and ultimately the Volcano Manor. So let's walk this path, shall we? And here we can see dead soldiers. And a lot of these red flowers. I guess they're supposed to be blood roses. Are they called blood roses? No, where is it? Crafting material, right. Yeah, blood roses. I think. Might be wrong there. But there are a lot of dead Leyndell soldiers, and I think it's fairly clear what's going on here. If not, I will explain it, because I actually know a little bit of lore. There was a battle here, Volcano Manor versus Leyndell. This is basically it. Rykard. Really, who attacked who here? I think Leyndell invaded the Volcano Manor, right? Otherwise, why would you fight here? Otherwise, the fight would have been somewhere in the Altus Plateau. Or maybe this was the retaliation, I guess. Like, they invaded Leyndell and the Big Shattering as well, and then Leyndell retaliated at some point, I guess. And the abductor virgins are supposed to fight the Leyndell soldiers. It's not happening because, well, I'm not technically here. But they're enemies and they're fighting each other. So Volcano Manor is the abductor virgin and the Leyndell soldiers, of course, part of the Leyndell faction. And it's just a big battle here, like outpost over outpost got ran over. So I think it's fair to assume that these outposts were Leyndell outposts. And if you haven't seen it here, because it's quite hard to see, right? There's a ladder. And this is ultimately our path to the Volcano Manor. This is technically the only path there. There's another way the player can get to the Volcano Manor, but this is the main path if you want to go there, if you want to walk. And oh boy, there's a lot of death going on here, right? Trolls hanging from their feet, and humans, and I guess also maybe there are some Albinaurics in there, who knows. A lot of death here. And they're all hung up by their feet, which is kind of strange. I guess they're just... Who did this? Was it Leyndell or was it Volcano Manor? because this is, I think this is going against the normal quote-unquote crucifixion that we've seen. We usually have seen the crucifixion with like the stem or whatnot, like this part here that's going up, and then there's a half circle, like the rune arc half circle thingy going on there, and then they're like not upside down like these, but the right way around, right? And this is going against it. So is this part of the Volcano Manor, like Vlad the Impaler style, or is this part of Leyndell? I don't really know. But you could do it both ways, right? And I think the trolls are part of Leyndell, right? Oh, and we're getting invaded here again. Great. But you can argue it both ways, because... Okay, she's not attacking me. If this is the work of the Volcano Manor, they're basically mocking Leyndell. And if this is... what's it called? And if this is the doing of Leyndell, they're like refusing normal burial of the Volcano Manor. Because usually how it works is, if you're buried in the ground, at some point you're being reabsorbed by the Earth Tree. But if you're hung up, this is not the case. It's harder for the Earth Tree's roots to reach your body, and it's basically impossible, right? So either way, if this is the work of the Volcano Manor, then they're denying the Leyndell soldiers proper reincarnation, I guess. And if it's the other way around, then, well, it's the same thing, basically. It's either a mocking or a safety feature. And here we have Anastasia, I think, Tarnished Ida again, invading us here. And she's invading us at different points in the game. I think she's invading us 3 times. First one is down here in the smoldering church. Then at the corpse stench shack is the second one. The third invasion is taking place at roughly this area over here, in the consecrated snowfield part. But well, what's her deal? She's eating Tarnished, I guess. But she's not really good at eating us, right? And oh boy, what is going on here? The bridge has been destroyed. So who destroyed the bridge? Leyndell or the Volcano Manor? Again, it's fairly unclear, right? To the player or to the visual storytelling, it's quite unclear. Either Leyndell is trying to cut off the path for the Volcano Manor so they can't easily reach Leyndell, or the Volcano Manor destroyed the bridge in a defensive act so that Leyndell isn't invading as easily, right? Could be seen both ways. Really is the crucifixion, and that's kind of that's the beautiful part about the level design here. It's not beautiful at all, but that's the awesome level or visual design there that's going on here. It could go both ways, right? This could be the work of both sides. And I'm not really sure. Is there some... I think there are some story sorts later on, and we will read them, but up to this point it's really unclear who did the whole hanging the corpses part, right? And now you can insert the what's the game called? Metal Gear Solid, what a thrill meme music thingy. Because this is really peak gameplay over here. And I'm not singing it, I'm not putting it in the video. You can sing it for yourself here. And if you're not getting what I mean, then unlucky, I guess. Please write it down into the comments if you know what I'm talking about. And you probably are. But okay. We climbed up the first ladder because... Well, you see this weird structure up there. Like up there. Above the head of my character. Yes, this is where we are climbing up later on. Isn't it great? And what's going on here is a mystery to me. This. Who thought building a siege tower here was a good idea? Like, this is clearly in camp. This looks like a Leyndell soldier camp, and these are like either mourning their fallen comrades, or they're just trying to grab what they can salvage. Like, could go either way. But who thought this thing is a good idea? And yes, they have a mad pumpkin head on their side. I guess beefy brutes are always needed. And Volcano Manor is... not Volcano Manor, I think Mount Gelmir is the area with the most letters in the game. At least it's the area of most clusters. But who thought this is a good idea? Like this tower. Usually what this tower is used for, usually it has wheels and someone is pushing this tower so you can hijack the wall, right? Imagine there's a wall, like a wall, for example, of the Volcano Manor, and you want to invade, then this can go up and act as a roof, as a protection from arrows and other projectiles, and the rain, I guess. And then if you're close enough to the wall, you loosen this so this goes flat, and then your soldiers can rush in and attack the walls. Fairly easy to explain. And this is why there are a lot of weapons here, but why would you have this here? There is no wall here. What are you boarding? What are you doing with this thing? And there are so many weapons in here, right? Look at how many weapons there are. This is not really practical. If you wanna like board the wall or hijack the wall, whatever you want to call it, right? Then it's fine, but now if you want to fight down there, like on the ground, if you want to fight there, you have to grab your weapon, you have to climb down 2 ladders, and there's only 1 ladder in the middle, so this is the bottleneck here. Then you have a ladder over here that you have to climb down, and then you're on the bottom. Then you can use your weapon. Holy shit, this is a terrible tactic. If you want to have some sort of fortification here, you're better off building like palisade walls, barricades, your tents, stuff like this. Much easier, much faster. Like, why would you build this thing? And you can't really use it as an archer tower. I mean, you can, but for that it's not really built correctly as an archer nest. And what's happening here? Because there's something funny happening here. Because you know we have patches in the game, right? Patches exist in this game, and you're very close to the Volcano Manor, right? You just have to climb up this whole thingy, fight the beast somewhere there, and then you're in the Volcano Manor. But if you're playing through this game, you see a what's it called, like rainbow stone path leading this way to somewhere on this cliff, and if you're getting too close, someone, Patches of course, is kicking you down, and you're somehow surviving this fall, and you're back down here, like where we were before, in this area. And this is why there are these the basilisks. They're supposed to ambush you when you're getting thrown down there. That's so funny. But of course you can technically find patches there because he's there and you can talk to him and like not fall for his trap. Not falling for the trap is always a good idea, I guess. Another camp here, nothing really special to see here, but... Oh, that's a good opportunity, I hope. Okay, I hope he's not being triggered. I hope he stays up there. Because up there is a grafted scion. And usually when you're approaching this area he's jumping down. And grafted scion is... Isn't this technically part of Godric's faction? Like Godric the Grafted? What is he doing here? Are they part of the Leyndell dudes or are they part of the Volcano Manor? Probably not, but he's waiting for you here. And this one has glowing eyes, so this one drops more runes when we kill them. Is this one looking different? Like, do they always have these feathers? I'm not recalling them having feathers, so this might be a quote-unquote special one. Because usually they only have one model, right? And there's a wing grafted to them. Oh! What bird is that? Do we know these birds? Like with blue and red feathers? I'm not remembering it. But we also have marionettes here, and these are usually part of the what are they called? Carrier Manor, I guess. But they're also up here, so some mage is controlling them here. And there are more of them here, like there are also the annoying flying ones over there that will drop bombs on you and shit like this, so be careful if you're approaching this area. And then you have to decide, not yet, I guess. Oh no, you have to decide. Left or right ladder? Left or right? Well, it doesn't really matter, you end up in the same place, almost, but I think... I hope I'm not choosing the wrong one right now. I mean, it's reversible, so if you're going the wrong one, you can still go back and take the other one, but yeah, here was a corpse you can pick up, but here you have to... There's no really right one, because I think here you have a merchant. How do you even get your... Tell me one thing. How did this animal make it up here? This is not a mountain goat. This is a donkey, I guess? What is the donkey doing here? Did you carry your donkey up the ladder? How? How did the donkey... Yeah, okay, No. No. I'm not buying anything. Sorry. What is the donkey doing here? It's a mountain donkey. It's a mixture of donkey and a mountain goat. Or maybe it's a Skyrim horse. I guess it's a Skyrim horse. But let's climb up here. And we're finally up here. Oh, that took a while. And there's another interesting sight here. Because here we have... Mad warriors. They have glowing eyes. So they're touched by the flame, like by the... What's it called again? Frenzied flame. They are touched by the frenzied flame. What are they doing here? Like... Maybe we can read it here? The assault on Volcano Manor, the squalid, the sick, the blasphemous. A wretched, unending war with no glory. Yeah, invasion, okay. So Leyndell invaded, but why are there mad warriors here? Maybe there was the Flame of Frenzy here. Maybe... what's his name? Spear Dude, Mad Spear Dude was here. Maybe there was once a story and it's cut now. Maybe it's a cut story, but clearly the Flame of Frenzy had some influences over here. And we technically have only one path, but if you go this direction and not over this bridge over there, then you can find a cave that you can explore over here. See, it's quite hard to see, not gonna lie, but there is a cave here, and have fun going through that cave. It's not very difficult, and you will find a few cool items down there. I won't spoil it, but it's quite unique. So continuing over this this bridge over here, not a drawbridge, we are close to the next mini boss, I guess. And I think you can ignore this one completely. I think I can ignore this one completely, but where are we? We're currently in this position, so what I like to do is always look down here, because you can see nothing. Which is kinda disappointing. I would like to see the ocean. I mean, maybe you can, but you can't even see where the rocks are meeting the water. I guess these are waves down there, like the small white thing that just appeared in a line there. I guess you can technically see some waves, but like the lands between are basically surrounded by fog. I know you can decide, do you want to go up there by torrent or do you want to climb up, and I choose torrent. Because this is much quicker and much more fun. But here we have the biggest falling star beast, and he possibly got the biggest crater, so I guess this one smashed in the earth as a big boy already. And here we can see there, this one developed the eye. The other ones had no eye, and this one is slowly developing the eye, making it more apparent that this one is slowly transforming into an Astel. Because if you remember, Astel has these two mandibles, and then inner mandibles, and a skull with a crack in the skull where the eye is forming. And here you can see the skull is slowly coming out of its forehead with the eye. And the mandibles are of course there as well, and I guess this one is close to transforming into an Astel. So how many are there in total then? We have 2 full Astels in the game. How many falling star beasts do we have? 3? And then how many hanging from the ceiling hanging Astels do we have? The middle form? 2 or 3? I can't really remember. Maybe you write it down into the comments how many fully Astel versions there could be in the lands between at some point, if they all are fully grown at some point. Like, would be interesting. And I think this one destroyed something by the impact, because here we can see one of these things that are collecting the starlight shards. Excuse me. Oh. Okay, but let's get out of the arena, and you're technically free to do that at any time. You can just jump down here and then just ignore the falling star beast there, but you can't go back, so you have to retry from down there again if you wanna challenge this one. There's only a one-way path going there. So what's going on here? We are fairly close to the end and to the Volcano Manor. But there's some interesting stuff in front of the Volcano Manor. We have already seen the frenzy dudes, like the dudes, the lane devil dudes inflicted by frenzy. But here we have a troll inflicted by the frenzy. You can see this by the trolls with the hood on. These are basically your frenzy trolls, even though they have no glowing or burning eyes in this case. But this one will use its frenzy attacks, and it's quite dangerous, so either ignore this one completely or kill them quick, because if they're starting the frenzy attack, you might be in danger there. But if we now continue in the other direction, here we have an invisible scarab, which is always fun to just stand here and wait until this one is coming again and then smack them in the right time. It's always not fun at all. I'm not really a fan of that, it takes a while. And usually, if you're trying to hit this one, you're hitting too late. But here, the hands are starting to appear again, like the big hands. And what are they doing here? Usually they're in Carrion Manor, but they are now also here, so was the Carrion Manor involved in the war and these are just leftovers? Or was there something else going on here? I have no idea. But this... it's strange that you see frenzied flame dudes, you have hands, Leyndell invaded, so it's quite clear that that happened, but let's see what this one is telling us. Lord Rykard, this is putrid fear. If this putrid field of death is what your blasphemy... hey, not so fast. Lord Rykard, if this putrid field of death is what your blasphemy would bring, then I can no longer abide. No one can. Well, they're clearly revolting. I guess that's what happens if you're revolting, if you're... well, Lord Rykard is also a bit of an idiot, but... we will talk about that in the boss design of Rykard thingy. But his old order is also really radical. Let's call it radical. And I guess somewhere here's the biggest jump scare that might happen in the game, I think. Is this one? Is this one the biggest jump scare? We will see. Yeah. Another level tier 1. This is not fun. This is not fun. A big worm face. This is like... They really did it this time. Like usually, yes, rune bear, oh, troll, oh, worm face, oh shit, quite dangerous. But the battlefield goes on, and if we have a look at this tree, at this once a tree, now a burnt tree, here we have the tree spirit, the sick tree spirit. And are they supposed to represent sick earth trees? Because they look like it, like if the tree got treated badly, then this appears. At least it feels like it to me, but yeah, this one is smoking, so it got burned, I guess, by Rykard. He managed to burn this tree. Quite unlucky, I guess. But really, this now, this thought just came to my mind. If these are like, these are clearly the spirits of the earth tree. I think they're called like putrid or ulcerated tree spirit. I'm not quite sure what ulcerated means, but I know what putrid means. Oh no, not the putrid variant. Is it the Scarlet Rot variant or is it the Guardian variant? I'm confused now, but if this is the... what's it called? If this thing happens when the earth tree is sick, then, well, there are a lot of sick earth trees around here. Like minor earth trees and normal earth tree, whatever. But here we are at the end of the bridge. And, well, it took me an hour now, but we're finally through the episode. Saying finally like I didn't enjoy this. I really enjoy these videos, but it was quite a long episode. I thought this, in my mind I thought this was like a maybe 40 minute episode. No, it's an hour. That was quite a lot to talk about, I guess. But the overall theme here is like war, like an invasion, like a battle that technically no one can really win because you have attrition, like both sides suffer heavy losses, and it's like a war you usually don't want to fight. Then we have a few buildings that got occupied by the demi-humans, and demi-humans now working together with mages, or with maybe the followers of Master Azur. We have the Fire Monk faction, it's called the Fire Monk faction, fighting over here versus Leyndell soldiers, and then we have Leyndell soldiers afflicted by the Flame of Frenzy somewhere over here. And it's like, there are like a lot of factions here. We have Leyndell, we have Volcano Manor, we have Flame of Frenzy, we have Fire Monks, we have probably something else, demi-humans, right? And technically mages. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on here on this mountain, right? On Mount Gelmir. But yeah, let me know what you think about Mount Gelmir, the level design. I mean, the level design itself is quite, it's linear, and it kind of reminds me of a Dark Souls level, right? It's not really Elden Ring, it's more Dark Souls-y in my opinion, because it's more linear, and it's contained in and out of itself, right? It's self-contained, like you have this entrance over here, and you have this entrance over here. There's no real overlap, right? You have like two entrances, and they're like contained. You can't really get in and out at a different point. If you have a look at the Altus Plateau, it's quite more open, right? It's an open area. You have, technically you could argue it's self-contained as well, like, and so is this, so is Leonia, but this feels much more compact in comparison to other areas in this game, and therefore it's quite unique for this game. They definitely conveyed the tragedy that's going on here quite well, right? With all the death that's going on here. It's the overarching theme, right? It's a war that no faction really can win. There are only losers here, and only the people that are suffering, that are involved in the conflict here. So, and this is basically when two radical orders clash, right? You have the quote-unquote blasphemy over here, and then you have the Earth Tree on the other side, and in this war there are only losers, and I think this is the message that Mount Gelmir is here to convey. The level design itself, as I said, it's quite linear. The color palette is quite... It's basically just one color, it's gray. Gray-brownish is the color of the Mount Gelmir. Not much color going on here, very muted. Not really a place that I would want to visit, like in real life. Especially not with all these corpses, like... enemies. What kind of enemies do we have in here? Like, there's quite the variety, and it's quite fun to go through. It's a bit hard with the war machines of the Volcano Manor, the abductor versions and stuff like this. It's not really easy, but it's also not really hard. It's like a mediocre difficulty level, I would say. But it's nothing wrong with that, and except with the minor things that are quite unrealistic, like, why is there this siege tower just standing there? What are you besieging with this tower? It's not like an archer tower. And with some houses that are like too small and have a silly amount of doors, basically, like, but it's fine, like, and the level is quite fun on top of that. So yeah, let me know what you think about this level, and I guess I'll see you in the next episode. That's it from me, and goodbye.